Have you ever looked at a garden that feels alive, where butterflies flutter, bees hum, and every bloom seems to dance under the sun? It's not just beautiful, it's buzzing with life. They're filled with perennials chosen not only for their looks, but for how much they give back. If you want a garden that supports nature and still looks stunning from spring through fall, these are the 10 easiest, most rewarding pollinator magnets you can plant today. Let's kick off with a classic powerhouse, Echinacea purpurea magnus. Looking for a plant that bees, butterflies, and even goldfinches won't leave alone? Echinacea magnus is it. Its wide, open blooms are packed with nectar and easy for pollinators to land on, making it a non-stop buffet from midsummer to fall. Butterflies glide in like clockwork, and once the petals fade, the cone becomes a natural snap bar for songbirds. Visually, it's a standout. Large magenta petals flare outward from a bold coppery dome, perched on upright stems that don't flop. The plant forms tidy clumps that stay neat and give rhythm to sunny borders. With weeks of blooming and strong presence, it earns its keep. This is the definition of easy care. It thrives in full sun, tolerates drought once established, and shrugs off pests and poor soil. No need to coddle it. It'll perform with almost zero fuss. Combine it with Russian sage, black-eyed Susans, or native grasses for a wildlife-friendly, sun-soaked border that never stops buzzing. If you want beauty, structure, and pollinator action in one plant, this is your go-to. Next on the list, a true pollinator magnet with sky-high style, Agastache Blue Fortune. This aromatic bloomer is pure gold for bees and butterflies. Its upright, bottle brush flowers are loaded with nectar and bloom for weeks without pause, offering an open invitation to all flying guests. The subtle anise scent of the foliage also helps deter deer while adding a sensory layer to your garden. Its soft, lavender blue spikes rise above sturdy green foliage, creating vertical interest that gently sways in the breeze. The blooms stretch from midsummer into fall, and even the seed heads add late-season texture. It blends beautifully in both naturalistic and formal layouts. Give it full sun and well-drained soil, and it'll reward you with season-long performance and very little maintenance. It's drought-tolerant once established and shrugs off heat with ease. Try pairing it with yarrow, coneflowers, or ornamental grasses. The result? A low-maintenance pollinator haven buzzing with life and color. Coming in hot with fiery color and even hotter pollinator action, butterfly weed. This native stunner is a lifeline for monarch butterflies, serving both as a nectar source and a host plant for caterpillars. Its clusters of bold orange blooms are rich in nectar, attracting a steady stream of bees, butterflies, and even hummingbirds throughout summer. The foliage is narrow and slightly glossy, forming a neat, compact mound that fits well in sunny beds. The bright blooms are long-lasting and give way to interesting seed pods that add structure into fall. It has a tough, wild charm that suits naturalistic borders perfectly. It thrives in full sun and lean, dry soil. No pampering required. In fact, the less fertile the soil, the better it performs. Once it's in for good. Easy to grow and drought-hardy. Mix it with black-eyed Susans, prairie grasses, or purple coneflowers for a pollinator-friendly display that's as resilient as it is radiant. Let's crank up the red with an absolute hummingbird favorite, Marnarda Jacob Klein. If you want pollinators to party in your garden, this is the plant. Its bright scarlet blooms are like flashing beacons for hummingbirds and bees alike. The nectar is abundant and the flower shape makes it irresistible to long-tongued pollinators. Each bloom bursts out in a shaggy crown of petals atop sturdy square stems, creating bold pops of color from midsummer onward. The aromatic, minty foliage adds another layer of interest and texture and helps keep deer at bay. It prefers full sun but can handle partial shade, and it likes moist, well-drained soil. Powdery mildew can be an issue in some regions, but choosing this mildew-resistant cultivar helps a lot. A light cutback after flowering encourages fresh growth. Combine with purple salvia or white phlox for a high-contrast pollinator bed that hums with energy. It's drama, color, and wildlife support in one dynamic plant.
Now for something sleek and refined. Veronica spicata Royal Candles. This compact beauty brings bold color and structure, and pollinators adore its upright spikes of violet-blue flowers. The blooms are densely packed and long-lasting, creating a vertical buffet for bees and butterflies from early to mid-summer. The foliage is tidy and deep green, forming a tight mound that looks great at the front of borders or in formal garden lines. The flower spikes stay neat and don't flop, keeping your design looking polished all season. Veronica loves full sun and well-drained soil. It's low maintenance and doesn't need much watering once settled in. You can deadhead spent blooms to encourage a light rebloom later in the season. It pairs effortlessly with yellow coreopsis, catmint, or white daisies. The result is a garden that feels crisp, colorful, and full of pollinator life. Lighting up the border like a vertical firework, Liatris spicata. This native perennial is beloved by butterflies, especially monarchs and swallowtails. The nectar-rich purple flower spikes bloom from the top down, giving pollinators fresh access point by point as the season rolls on. Even bees can't resist its fuzzy bottle brush texture. It grows in a tidy vertical form, with grassy foliage at the base and tall spires that bring height and movement to the garden. The blooms appear in mid to late summer and last for weeks, adding drama without bulk. Liatris thrives in full sun and well-drained soil. It tolerates drought, clay, and heat like a pro. Set it and forget it. Use it in drifts alongside black-eyed Susans or coneflowers, or mix into meadow-style gardens where butterflies can glide in from every direction.
Now let's soften the scene with a pollinator staple, Nepeta Walker's Low. This low-growing, silver-leaved perennial is always humming with life. The long-lasting blue lavender blooms stretch from spring into midsummer, often reblooming after a quick trim. Bees swarm it daily, and the aromatic foliage helps deter deer and rabbits. Its cascading habit creates a soft, flowing edge that pairs beautifully with upright perennials. It's neat but never stiff, casual but never sloppy. Catmint thrives in full sun and dry, well-drained soil. It's heat and drought tolerant and very low maintenance even in tough spots. Weave it through the front of sunny beds or use it as a filler between taller plants like yarrow or salvia. It adds calm, continuity, and non-stop pollinator buzz. Don't overlook the late-season hero, Solidago fireworks. This goldenrod bursts with arching sprays of yellow that practically drip with nectar. It's a top-tier pollinator plant, feeding bees, wasps, and butterflies when few other flowers are still blooming. And no, it's not what causes allergies. That's ragweed. Fireworks has a graceful weeping form that brings movement to the garden, with blooming tips that truly resemble exploding sparks. It shines in the late summer to fall garden, just when pollinators need it most. Grow it in full sun with average to dry soil. It's vigorous but well-behaved and needs little intervention to thrive. Try it with asters, sedum, or ornamental grasses for a dynamic, drought-tolerant combo full of life and late-season glow.
Ready for some fiery fall impact? Say hello to Helenium autumnale. This cheerful bloomer is a magnet for late-season pollinators. Its daisy-like flowers in oranges, reds, and golds are loaded with nectar and bloom from late summer into autumn, perfect timing for migrating butterflies and hard-working bees. Each flower stands atop upright stems with deep green foliage, forming a bushy clump that stays neat even when in full bloom. The color show intensifies as the weather cools, adding depth and drama. Helenium prefers full sun and rich, moist soil, but adapts well to average garden conditions. It's easy to grow and doesn't need much fuss. Just give it space to shine. Pair it with goldenrod, asters, or switchgrass for a pollinator buffet that also delivers fall fireworks in your border. And finally, let's end with elegance, Penstemon Husker Red. With its glossy burgundy foliage and airy white blooms, this plant is as beautiful as it is beneficial. The tubular flowers are rich in nectar and perfectly shaped for bees, bumblebees, and hummingbirds. It's one of the first perennials to bloom in late spring, making it a vital early food source. The dark leaves add contrast even when the plant isn't in bloom, bringing texture and color to the garden all season. When flowering, the soft white spikes hover above the foliage like clouds on stems. It grows best in full sun with well-drained soil and tolerates drought once established. It's resilient, tidy, and never overbearing. Mix it with blue salvias, coreopsis, or ornamental grasses for a pollinator-friendly combo with year-round appeal and striking foliage contrast. Pollinator gardens don't need to be wild or high maintenance. They just need the right plants. With these easy care perennials, you're not only creating beauty, you're building a little ecosystem right in your own yard. Which of these would you love to try first? Let us know, and as always, happy planting from PlantDo Home and Garden.